welcome to the episode of the BD Show. I'm here to do a spoiler review for Captain America 4 Brave New World. If you have not seen the movie yet and want a non-spoiler review, check out my video before this, my out-of-theater reaction, where I kind of break it down in non-spoiler fashion. So anyway, this is your official spoiler warning. I'm about to get into spoilers for the movie. Do not move forward in 3, 2, 1. So I would say the biggest spoiler, obviously Red Hulk, we know that already, but the biggest spoiler, the biggest MCU plot point for this movie, I'd say, is the introduction of Adamantium. For the first time ever, Adamantium is mentioned in this movie. It's officially in the MCU, which signals the X-Men are close, specifically Wolverine. And I actually really, really like this plot. This is kind of the core central plot of the movie. The Adamantium is where the Eternals 2 took place, where these finally we're back in the middle of the ocean where the Celestial is, and countries are trying to harvest the Adamantium for their own use. And obviously, countries are arguing over it, and honestly, this is like a good part of the movie, and a part of the movie I wish they got into more. Basically, Thunderbolt Ross, played by Harrison Ford, is basically struggling. He just became president, and part of his first 100 days is basically like securing some diplomacy, trying to work with other countries, but also trying to make the United States not look weak. And Japan is just, rightfully so, upset with the United States. Feels like the United States is kind of stealing the adamantium for themselves. And so I thought this was like the bones of a really good movie. And then, the background of this is the leader has been in captivity since the Hulk movie. So they kind of blend, like, this is almost like not only Captain America 4, but this is very much a sequel to the Hulk, finally. And also a little bit of sequel to the Eternals, kind of blended into one. So it really had, and that's honestly the formula for a good Marvel movie, right? You have Captain America 4 is the baseline, but then you mix in other elements of the MCU. You drive the MCU forward while also making an entertaining, good movie currently. And, like I said in my non-spoiler review, it wasn't, this movie had all the bones of a good movie. It wasn't a bad movie. It's bad in the sense that it wasn't good. I know that sounds really foolish, but it wasn't just, it's not like a bad movie where you're going to walk out of the theater and be like, oh my God, that was terrible. It was just bad in the sense that because of the potential, you were hoping for Winter Soldier, and it's just so disappointing because it at least gives me confidence that they know we wanted a Winter Soldier, but they just didn't land the plane. And I think it just goes to show how much we underrate the Russo brothers, who people forget made Winter Soldier, made Civil War, on top of Infinity War and Endgame. It just wasn't the Avengers movies. They made those Captain America movies. And I think it's just very important to remember. In terms of other spoilers, Bucky makes a brief cameo, but he does not fight. He's actually running for Congress, so we'll see if that's just a plot point for this movie or if that carries over into the MCU. He's very, very briefly in this movie. Isaiah Bradley is in this movie. As we saw in the trailer, they do almost like a Winter Soldier thing where he gets mind controlled by the leader into shooting the president along with other people. And yeah, I was really disappointed with how they used the leader. I heard this on another podcast. If James Gunn had did this movie, the leader would have had like a gigantic head and really comic book accurate. And it almost feels very X-Men, like the early 2000s X-Men-ish, when like they're just kind of embarrassed of who they want to be. Because I think the leader just wasn't, his head wasn't as big. He wasn't like as comic accurate as he should have been. They didn't really use him in the way that they should have. And the plot just wasn't as mysterious as it needed to be. Red Hulk only shows up at the end, which a lot of people are complaining about. I was expecting it. If you paid attention to the trailers, it was clearly all from one scene. And I actually thought the Red Hulk stuff was good. I think having like cool individual fight scenes is important, even if you have a mediocre movie, because at least it makes the movie somewhat rewatchable. Like, as much as Batman vs. Superman is a mediocre movie, in my opinion, there's a lot of rewatchable fight scenes. So at least I go back and watch that. And I think this Hulk scene is rewatchable. My favorite part, probably, of the whole movie is that they showed how fast the Hulk is. The fact that the Hulk is able to catch up on foot to Captain America. I keep saying Anthony Mackie. Even though he's using his wings. I really, really love that because the Hulk is very fast. They showed the Hulk how far he can jump. He jumped like from the White House to the Washington Monument, which I thought was a great scene, because obviously that's something that in real life you can picture how far that is, because like obviously a lot of people have been to both places, so you can really picture what that distance is like. So I thought that was really, really cool. in terms of other power scenes, Anthony Mackie, he has gotten his suit from Wakanda. I thought the way they introduced it was very jokingly, like, oh, it was a gift. And the new Falcon, I think Joaquin Torres is his name, Danny Ramirez, I think in real life. He has a lot of charisma, so he is a talented actor, but I don't think it was applied here. I thought he was very annoying. He was almost a little bit too earnest. He was almost trying like a little bit too hard to be like, yeah, I'm the Robin, I'm the number two. It's like, we know you don't have to like beat us over the head with it. In terms of Giancarlo Esposito's character, so he plays Sidewinder, which is the leader of the Serpent Society. And I really didn't like this. They basically turned the Serpent Society into like a bland terrorist organization, Black Ops with the black clothing, like we've seen a million times. Obviously, this was to save money, because if they turned them all into the Serpent Society for real, that would be millions and millions of dollars. But I just thought that was super, super disappointing, because I would have loved to seen that. In terms of other spoilers, we got a new Black Widow from Israel. I was pretty, I'm not going to lie, I was pretty surprised that they even mentioned the word Israel in this movie. I was expecting Marvel to cut that. So that was certainly surprising. I thought she did a good job, although it was a little bit unrealistic. She was tiny. I mean, she literally looked like she was 5 feet tall, maybe shorter. But overall, she held her own acting-wise. She just was kind of random. She just kind of showed up out of nowhere. As like a secret advisor to the president. So we'll see. And, I guess the last spoiler, the post-credit scene, I thought was very weak. I honestly had no idea what he was talking about. It was very, very deep into the credits. It was like 9 minutes into the credits. And it's pretty much just Anthony Mackie going to the Raft, the prison from Civil War, and meeting with the leader. And the leader basically saying, he's seen a vision and they're coming in other multiverses. And this is really confusing because we've seen so many multiverses. So, like, this isn't like a big like moment for anyone, because obviously we've seen multiverses, so I don't know what he means. I don't know if he's talking about the X-Men. I don't know if he's talking about the Fantastic Four, but we know the multiverse already exists, so I don't know what the surprise is exactly. So yeah, it's just a little bit strange because we know about the multiverse already, like with Spider-Man 4, like Spider-Man 3, Loki and all that stuff. So it was a little bit strange. I honestly had no idea what he was talking about. It was very generic. And yeah, that's one of my problems with the movie. Overall, I thought this movie was a little bit underwhelming. But like I said, it wasn't a disaster. So those are all the main spoiler points that I just wanted to get across. The Adamantium I thought was really exciting. I think I wasn't expecting that. So it's cool to kind of feel like you're watching an MCU movie again after all these years. But it was just very, very clunky, and you can kind of tell edited together. And, the movie ends off with both Harrison Ford and the leader both in jail on the raft. And we'll see what we get next. It doesn't really, Thunderbolts, so we'll see. Thanks, guys, for watching. Those are all the big spoiler points for Captain America 4. I definitely would like to have someone on to kind of discuss this movie a little bit more in like a longer discussion. So thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you on the next one.